Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brian Cutler from Left in the Field Outdoors, and I wanted to stop in here today and talk about spring mock scrapes. We're in Northwest Pennsylvania here. It is now the middle of April, and so far I've had my scrapes running for about 2 months. As soon as the snow begins to melt, as soon as I can get out, I will go out and I will freshen up all my mock scrapes, create new scrapes, and get things going for the year. So if you're new to this whole idea of mock scrapes and gland lore and the things I'm going to talk about, I highly suggest you check out my book, Nonverbal Whitetail Deer Communication, The Power of Gland Lore. Goes through and talks about all of the glands on a deer, how deer use them, how hunters you can use them to hunt with, and what it can do for you as a hunter throughout the year on inventory scouting and the possibility of putting a buck in line for you to get a nice shot with an arrow or with your gun. So um, let's talk first about what a mock scrape is. And a mock scrape is when we as hunters go out and we create a communication device for deer. Deer are doing this all the time on their own anyhow, creating scrapes throughout different times of the year. Some of those scrapes will blow into what we call community scrapes or communal scrapes, where the deer will come all the time. They will hit those scrapes, they will communicate, and you'll know you have one on your property when you put a camera there and deer come in there all the time to communicate 24/7, 365 days a year. I mean, they're coming in there to hit those scrapes. And so what deer are looking to do is they're looking to deposit a little bit of their preorbital gland lore, which is right inside the eyeball. There's a tear duct there. They also have a gland on top of their head with the forehead gland, and then they have a gland between their feet. If you pull their hooves apart, right in there, there's a little gland, the interdigital gland. Those are the three main ones that deer use to communicate throughout the year. As you get into the rut, you then have the tarsal, you have the salivary gland, you have the metatarsal gland. There's just a bunch of them that they use, but the three most important ones are always going to be preorbital, forehead, and interdigital. And so when we go into the woods to make a mock scrape, we as hunters, what we're doing is we are using these gland lures to introduce a entirely new buck to that herd. Deer are curious. They know each other by their unique scent. And when you introduce a new deer to that area, it makes them inquisitive. So one of the best times to introduce a new deer through a mock scrape is after the deer hunting season. If you have an area that's very heavily hunted and very pressured, like where I live, a lot of your mature bucks get shot. And so, as the hunting season gets over and deer begin to move around and bucks are looking for new territories to go and everything, having a place for them to communicate and to leave their individual scent is critical, in my opinion. You will have deer coming in there to hit scrapes and smell that scrape to see if they recognize who's been there last, how long they've been, and if they've been in that area before, and they realize that, hey, Joe, who was hitting the scrape all the time, hasn't hit it, and I don't smell Joe anymore. There's a good possibility Joe might not have made it through the season, or something happened to Joe. So you want to get in and you want to start those scrapes as soon as you can. To start getting inventory of the deer that are remaining after hunting season, and also the deer that are starting to visit your property because of deer that have been killed, or deer that have maybe just moved on. The two main properties I hunt, one is 40 acres, and my own property that I own is 12. I spend a lot of time on my 12 acres creating mock scrape lines that the deer can travel through and hit all the time. And I really find an uptick in activity come January, February, March, as again, deer are beginning to move through. Bucks are beginning to establish a pecking order as they're, trying to sort things out with, hitting new properties and things like that. So it's a really critical time to get out and do some stuff with mock scrapes and get yourself set up for, success in the fall. And, creating those scrape lines that can position you to put a great shot on an animal. So, what I want to focus on and what I want to talk about in this short podcast is number one, where to place mock scrapes. You know, you just can't go out, make a licking branch, put some pro orbital on it, put some interdigital in the scrape on the ground, and think that deer are going to naturally gravitate to that. If it's off the beaten trail or whatever, they're more than likely not going to go travel to it. If you don't know, and if you haven't realized, deer are lazy. They love the path of least resistance. They'll use the same trails all the time. And so you can set up these mock scrapes in areas where deer are always going to be, and they're always going to be looking to communicate with each other. So the first place that I like to set up mock scrapes is outside of bedding areas. And during the off season, what I will do is I will, walk different properties, walk my own, whatever. I know where my bedding areas are at, and I will make a mock scrape or use a mock scrape device at an area where the majority of the deer are entering the bedding area, and an area where the majority of deer are exiting the bedding area. And I put those particular mock scrapes in there because I know deer are going to go in there to bed. And so 99% of the deer that are going to go past that scrape are going to stop and work that licking branch or work that mock scrape device and leave their individual scent on that mock scrape. It's a little like communication of, hey, I'm going in, I'm coming out, going in, coming out. And deer get to know each other through those glands that they have. So outside of a bedding area, entrance and exits are great places to put mock scrapes. And again, and I got lots of videos and stuff on my YouTube channel on how to make mock scrapes and buckstick products and my own hanging vines and my own ropes and things stuff like that you can check out. But get out there, make yourself a mock scrape, hang a camera, let that camera soak and run all year, and you'll be surprised what you got going in and out of that. So always look for a bedding area, look for the entrance and that exit, set up a mock scrape on each side, and you'll get lots of activity there. The second place I like to put a mock scrape or a mock scrape device is at the entrance and at the exit of a funnel. Deer will naturally funnel through these areas, and as they grow through there, they're going to stop to communicate. And that gives me an opportunity to have my cameras pick up, what deer are traveling through there, when they're traveling through there, are they doing anything else? And along the beginning of that funnel and the end of the funnel, I will oftentimes put one or two other mock scrapes in there, and they'll stop at the scrape at the beginning of the funnel, hit the next one, hit the next one, hit the next one. You want to slow that buck down, that deer down, as much as you can and get them to spend as much time on your property as you can. And by creating these scrape lines along this funnel and having one at the beginning, at the end, and a few in the middle, that's going to encourage them to stop and take their time and work each of those scrape lines. And again, I'll add some videos into here as we're giving some examples of stuff. But I got one particular scrape line on my property that when a deer walks through, it's going to stop and hit three, if not four, scrapes to communicate with each other. So that's the second part. We know how important funnels are for hunting, especially during the season. You want to get some good intel on your deer, what's going on and everything. Put a scrape at the beginning and one or two in the middle and one at the end of that funnel. Keep them funneling where you want them to go. The last spot, and probably one of my favorite spots to put a mock scrape, is on an inside corner. Whether that's an inside corner of a woodlot, an inside corner of an ag field, inside corners are always a huge spot to put scrapes. And I will take the time to find the right inside corner and hang a scrape or make a scrape or put a scrape device there. And I will let that camera soak all year. And I know that I'm going to get lots of activity on that camera, as deer love to cut the corners. And some of the corners I'm looking for are inside corners that are just outside of bedding areas, where I know they're coming out of a bedding area, hitting an inside corner to travel to go different directions. And a lot of those spots, I like to put either a hanging vine um, or make my own licking branch in that spot. The reason I like to do that is because I like to trim back everything that is there, so that the mock scrape that I make is the only thing or the only place that that deer can stop to communicate. A lot of times it's going to suck them in or pull them in, to come to that scrape. So, if you're really new at making scrapes, and you want to go into all the details, stuff like that, again, you can check out some of my other videos and things that I have online. But just getting started, what are some things you want to have? You have two different groups of people. You have people who start scrapes and don't use any type of gland lure, anything, and you have people who are on the opposite spectrum, like myself, who will use gland lure to get those started. There's not a right or wrong way. A lot of people have success with hanging a vine, leaving it, letting a deer communicate, and then going from there. That's great. What I will say about that is, the deer are going to be on there. They're already going to know each other once they start hitting it. The idea, or probably the key thing behind making a mock scrape, is introducing a phantom deer or a new deer that they don't know who it is. And that is going to pique that interest to see, who that deer is, where they come from, and why are they here. So again, there's not a right or wrong way to do that. One thing I would caution against, though, is if you're making a licking branch, you're having a device. I like to hang it. I like my vines to be about 4 feet long. So when I hang them up, I'm about 5'10". When I hang them up, they're going to be about 3.5 to 4 feet off the ground. Okay, a mature deer is going to be able to get right into that, work that. Whether it's a licking branch or some other type of device, they want to be able to get in there and work that mock scrape. Some of the different things that I use here is a mock rope that I have been working on, been testing for the last year and a half, 2 years. Got my own little hanging device here, and you see got exposed rope down here, and we got these leaves. You see a lot of people using hemp rope, all kinds of rope and things like that. They just ball stuff up and put a lot of stuff here in the bottom. What I've found over the years is that as soon as I started adding fake leaves to my rope like this, and then I have this completely coated so the rope won't mildew, as soon as I started to do this, I've noticed that when it hangs, deer can come up and they can at one time deposit two, if not three glands at one time. As they get their face up in here, they can get their preorbital in here, they get their forehead, and they can put their salivary on here. And so I've had huge success, okay, with leaving these out and the deer coming and using them all year round. Right now, there aren't any leaves on the trees, and all of my mock scrapes that are out right now have some type of leaf or leaves on them. And the deer just getting in and getting their faces in them, and that's what they want. If you think about during the hunting season, where do most of your mock scrapes, or where do most of deer make their scrapes towards, the rut and stuff? Oak trees, beech trees, trees that still have their leaves, because those leaves are going to hold in the scent that the deer are creating naturally out of the preorbital, forehead, salivary gland. And so those leaves and those things are going to hold more scent. Okay. And, it's going to allow them to one-stop shop and get their face up in there. So this is a little bit of something I've been working on and creating on my own and have had a lot of success with. Um, Two other things that I like to use. This is a gland lure of my own that I've come up with. This is called Head Scratcher, and this is to use on uh, your vines, your ropes, your licking branches, and things and stuff like that. It's not really a viscous liquid; it's kind of a thicker liquid, so you only have to use a very, very tiny bit. This 1.25-ounce bottle should last you a season or two, depending how crazy you're going with making your scrapes. So that's going to introduce, your buck that you're going to use, for your licking branch or for your vine or for your rope. And then we got a bottle of Smokies interdigital buck gland lure. And again, this is taken out of the interdigital gland that's in between the hoof. And this is what I will take and I will put in the dirt. Okay. And what the deer is going to be able to do is that as a new deer comes up to communicate in the scrape, they're going to be able to smell what the deer smells like from the glands on the face and what it smells like with its interdigital gland. They put the two together. They now know that this is a new deer on the property or one that's traveling through. So these are just a few of the things I do in the spring. Of course, putting a camera up and letting the camera soak, letting it run. Um, I use Spy Point Force Pro cameras on a lot of my scrapes because they shoot in 4K video with sound up to a minute, and I'm trying to gather as much intel as I can on those deer. On some of the other scrapes, I run Spy Point Flex M's and the Flex G36 and the Flex camera. And I put those on video mode as well, so I can take in and gather that information that I need. Really starting to put the pieces together right now as we're getting into the middle of April and moving into May. Again, this is the time you really want to start your inventory and you really want to get things moving in the right direction. Introducing a new buck. Once you put that gland lure and stuff on, you shouldn't have to go back and freshen it up for quite some time. Um, I don't know, maybe at the end of every month, go in and add a little bit of your gland lure, okay, for the licking branch, and again in the ground for the mock scrape. And in our area where I live, we're allowed to use natural, so these are natural gland lures. If you live in an area where you have to use synthetic, there are a lot of good synthetic products and stuff out there that you can get into and to check. But where I live, And for the last about little over a decade, we've been using natural stuff to help us with our mock scrapes. And again, we primarily hunt mock scrapes throughout the year to ensure that we have the best chance to catch one of the cruising bucks that we have as one of our target bucks. So again, if you are interested about more stuff about mock scrapes, you can check out some of my other videos and some of my other things that I have going on left in the field outdoors. You can go to my website, www.litfoutdoors.com, and you can check out. I got books on there. I got gland lore on there. I'm going to start selling some of these ropes as well. Have a few other things I want to do with those. But you can check out my videos and everything on what I do to make mock scrapes and how I do those. But with it being spring, and it being springtime, you're out in the turkey woods and stuff, start paying attention, look for those old scrapes, look for community scrapes, and get out there and start making some scrapes and hanging some cameras. Deer season is 365 days a year. Remember that. If it's not, you're a little bit behind. This is Brian Keitler. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, contact me. All my stuff is on my website that you can get in touch with me. Have a happy hunting season. Good luck turkey season, and God bless.